Have you ever looked down at the toilet, seen foam swirling on the surface, and felt that quiet fear in your chest, wondering if your kidneys might be trying to warn you before something truly irreversible happens? I'm Dr. Johnny, and today I need to tell you a truth most people never hear until it's far too late. Protein showing up in your urine is one of the earliest, loudest, and most dangerous red flags your kidneys can send, and ignoring it is how thousands of Americans slip into permanent kidney damage without even realizing it's happening. But here's the part that gives me hope every single day in my clinic. Once you understand why the protein is leaking and what is silently attacking your kidneys, you can reverse the process far more easily than you think using simple steps and specific foods backed by science, not guesswork. And as we begin this journey together, I want you to listen closely, not out of fear, but out of power. Because by the end of this video, your entire understanding of proteinuria and your ability to fight it will shift in a way that could change the rest of your life. Let's start with one of the most underestimated kidney-saving foods, red bell peppers. Most people think of them as nothing more than a colorful ingredient for salads or stir-fries. But inside this simple vegetable lies a combination of nutrients perfectly designed for people with proteinuria and kidney damage. What makes red bell peppers truly special is how incredibly low they are in potassium, phosphorus, and sodium, the three minerals that often overload weakened kidneys. That means you can enjoy them freely without worrying about putting extra strain on your filtration system. Beyond their safety, red bell peppers are packed with antioxidants like vitamin A, vitamin C, and anthocyanins, compounds shown to reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, two of the biggest drivers of kidney decline. I once had a patient, Linda, who struggled with rising protein levels despite watching her salt intake and taking her medications faithfully. The moment she started adding red bell peppers into her meals 3 to 4 times a week, her energy improved, her swelling decreased, and her follow-up tests finally showed a drop in urinary protein. It wasn't magic, it was nutrition, working exactly as science predicts. And if you're wondering how to use them in your own meals, the options are endless. Add them raw to salads for crunch and sweetness, blend them into soups for a creamy but kidney-safe base, roast them for deeper flavor, or pair them with hummus for a nutrient-rich snack. Just make sure you choose peppers with bright, glossy skin and a firm feel. Those are the ones with the highest nutrient content and best flavor. But here's where it gets even more exciting. Understanding why red bell peppers work is only the beginning. Because the next food on this list doesn't just support your kidneys, it helps rebuild what's already been damaged by lowering inflammation and improving blood sugar in a completely different way. In fact, most kidney patients have never even been told about it. And that's exactly why you shouldn't miss the next part. If red bell peppers are the gentle protectors of your kidneys, then quinoa is the quiet warrior that steps in when your body needs deeper repair. The shift from vegetables to grains may feel sudden, but quinoa isn't a grain at all. It's a complete protein, something incredibly rare in plant-based foods, and exactly why kidney specialists like me keep recommending it to patients with proteinuria. I'll never forget a patient named Marcia, a 61-year-old retiree who came to me feeling defeated. Her protein levels kept rising no matter what she removed from her diet. When we reviewed her meals, she was unknowingly relying on low-quality proteins that inflamed her kidneys even more. The moment she replaced them with quinoa, a food rich in magnesium polyphenols and all 9 essential amino acids, her energy lifted, her inflammation markers dropped, and her proteinuria finally began to stabilize. She later told me, "Dr. Johnny, I didn't know one simple food could make such a difference." But that's exactly what quinoa does, and the science backs her story. A 2023 study found that compounds in red quinoa significantly reduced oxidative stress in kidney tissue, one of the core drivers behind glomerular damage. When oxidative stress falls, protein leakage often improves. That's why quinoa isn't just a carbohydrate alternative. It's a therapeutic food disguised as a pantry staple. But the key is preparing it the right way. Raw quinoa contains saponin, a natural coating that tastes bitter and can irritate the stomach. Most strainers aren't fine enough to rinse it thoroughly, which is why I always recommend buying pre-rinsed quinoa. Once cooked, it becomes incredibly versatile. Add it to salads, stir it into soups, mix it with vegetables, or freeze portions for quick meals later. You get slow-release, energy-balanced protein and kidney-friendly nutrition without the potassium and phosphorus spikes that come from other grains. And here's where the transition becomes critical. Because while quinoa repairs inflammation and supports your filtration system, there's another food on this list that doesn't just protect your kidneys, it helps your body eliminate toxins more efficiently than almost anything in your kitchen. Most people skip it entirely, and that's exactly why their proteinuria refuses to improve. But just knowing quinoa's benefits isn't enough, because there is another factor far more dangerous that silently affects your kidneys long before symptoms appear. If quinoa is the quiet warrior repairing inflammation from the inside, then cabbage is the protective shield your kidneys wish you had added to your meals years ago. The shift from grains to leafy vegetables may feel subtle, but cabbage deserves its place here, because what it does inside your body is far more powerful than its simple appearance suggests. I remember a patient named Jerome, a 64-year-old former engineer, who believed he was eating healthy because he avoided sugar and fried foods. But his cholesterol was sky high, his proteinuria kept climbing, and he couldn't understand why. The turning point came when we introduced cabbage into his routine, not as a side dish he ignored, but as a core ingredient in soups, stir-fries, and fermented dishes like sauerkraut. Within weeks, his LDL levels dropped, his bloating decreased, and the pressure on his kidneys finally began to ease. The science behind this is crystal clear. Cabbage is rich in phytosterols, compounds that compete with LDL cholesterol for absorption in the gut, meaning less bad cholesterol circulating through your bloodstream and less strain on the delicate vessels feeding your kidneys. It's also packed with vitamin C, vitamin K, fiber, and anthocyanins, all of which reduce inflammation and help flush toxins, uric acid, and free radicals out of your system. And if you've ever struggled with sluggish digestion or bloating, cabbage's natural fiber can help move waste through the gut faster, giving your kidneys one less burden to manage. For people with advanced kidney disease, there's one detail to keep in mind. Cabbage contains potassium, though at lower levels compared to many leafy greens. Depending on your CKD stage, you may need to monitor your intake, but for most people with early proteinuria, cabbage remains one of the safest vegetables you can eat. You can enjoy it raw in salads, lightly sautéed, with garlic steamed, or fermented into kimchi or sauerkraut, both of which add gut-friendly probiotics that support detoxification even further. And now comes the important transition. Because while cabbage protects your kidneys by lowering cholesterol and easing inflammation, the next food goes even deeper by stabilizing blood sugar and blood lipids simultaneously, a combination that determines whether protein leakage continues or finally begins to reverse. Most people underestimate it completely, and that's exactly why their kidneys stay inflamed. But just knowing the benefits of cabbage isn't enough, because there is another factor far more dangerous that continues damaging the kidneys long before symptoms appear. If cabbage helps detox the body and lighten the pressure on your kidneys, then avocado steps in as the stabilizer, bringing balance to your blood sugar, your cholesterol, and your inflammation levels all at once. This transition from a crunchy detox vegetable to a creamy, nutrient-dense fruit isn't random. It's intentional, because avocado addresses a deeper layer of kidney damage that most people barely talk about. I remember a patient named Helena, a 57-year-old accountant, who often skipped meals, drank too much coffee, and lived under constant stress. Her proteinuria kept worsening, and every time we reviewed her numbers, her blood sugar and LDL cholesterol were creeping higher and higher. What shocked her was that she wasn't eating junk food every day, she simply wasn't eating the right fats. The turning point came when we replaced her processed snacks with controlled portions of avocado. Within a month, her fasting glucose stabilized, her cholesterol improved, and her kidney markers finally stopped rising. Avocado's strength lies in its monounsaturated fats, the same heart-friendly fats known to reduce LDL bad cholesterol while improving insulin sensitivity. And with less sugar circulating in your blood and less cholesterol, damaging your blood vessels, your glomeruli, the kidney's microscopic filters finally get a chance to heal. Add to that avocado's natural fiber, antioxidants, and incredibly low sugar content, less than 1.5 grams per whole fruit, and you get a food that supports kidney health from multiple angles. But there's an important detail most people miss. Avocado is naturally high in potassium. For people in the early stages of kidney disease, or those on certain types of dialysis, This is completely safe, sometimes even beneficial. But for those in advanced CKD, potassium must be monitored carefully. That's why I always tell my patients to consult their dietitian or doctor before making avocado a daily habit. When choosing avocados, look for ones that are slightly firm but give gently under pressure. Store unripe avocados at room temperature, and once they soften, refrigerate them to slow down the ripening process. And whatever you do, avoid storing them submerged in water, a dangerous trend online because it can lead to bacterial contamination. Even avocado oil deserves attention, rich in oleic acid, and antioxidant studies show it improves blood pressure and reduces oxidative stress in kidney tissue, offering benefits similar to the fruit itself. But as powerful as avocado is, it's still not the final piece. Because while healthy fats reduce inflammation and stabilize your blood sugar, there's another ingredient on this list that strengthens your kidney filtration system in a way fats alone never can, and almost nobody is using it correctly. But just knowing what avocado can do isn't enough, because there is another factor far more dangerous that silently determines how fast your kidneys age. If avocado gives your kidneys the healthy fats they desperately need, then extra virgin olive oil is the precise, targeted form of protection that works at the microscopic level. The transition from creamy fruit to liquid gold isn't accidental, because EVO does something no other ingredient on this list can do. It reduces inflammation directly at the kidney's filtration sites. One of my most memorable patients, Stephen, a 63-year-old school bus driver, struggled for years with fluctuating blood pressure and recurring proteinuria spikes. He tried cutting salt, cutting coffee, cutting nearly everything he enjoyed, yet his numbers wouldn't stabilize. The breakthrough came when we had him replace every processed oil in his kitchen with extra virgin olive oil. The result, his blood pressure dropped, his proteinuria decreased, and for the first time in years, his glomeruli were no longer under constant attack. And this isn't luck, this is biochemistry. EVOO is packed with polyphenols, particularly compounds like hydroxytyrosol, oleuropein, and oleocanthal, the very same molecules known to reduce inflammation, prevent blood vessel damage, and shield kidney tissues from oxidative stress. A 2021 study even showed that EVOO improved kidney enzyme activity and stabilized blood pressure in test subjects, demonstrating its ability to support filtration health long-term. But here's the part most people never get right using EVOO correctly. This oil has a low smoke point, meaning high heat destroys its antioxidant power. If you're frying with it, you're losing the very benefits you bought it for. That's why I always advise patients to use EVOO for drizzling over cooked vegetables, salads, hummus, roasted dishes, or low-heat sautéing. It should be stored in a dark glass bottle away from heat and sunlight, because even minor oxidation can weaken its protective effects. And if you want an easy tip to maximize its benefits, here's what I tell everyone. Cover the bottle with a piece of aluminum foil at home. It sounds simple, even strange, but it shields the oil from light and helps preserve its nutrients much longer. When you're shopping, look for certification seals from the IOC or the California Olive Oil Council to avoid cheap diluted oils that provide no real kidney benefits. But as transformative as EVO is, it still isn't the final answer. Because while it protects your kidneys drop by drop, there's one more food on this list that strengthens kidney function, reduces inflammation, and improves blood vessel health all at once. And skipping it may be the reason your proteinuria keeps returning. But just knowing how EVO protects your kidneys isn't enough, because there is another factor far more dangerous that determines whether your kidney health continues improving or suddenly collapses. If extra virgin olive oil protects your kidneys drop by drop, then walnuts are the powerful reinforcement that strengthens that protection from the inside out. This transition from a liquid anti-inflammatory to a crunchy, nutrient-dense nut is intentional because walnuts bring something unique to the table. They deliver omega-3 fatty acids, natural antioxidants, and plant-based proteins in one single bite, and all three are critical for people battling proteinuria. One of the stories I often share with patients is about Caroline, a 55-year-old woman who thought nuts were off limits because of their phosphorus content. But what she didn't know was that walnuts carry moderate levels of phosphorus and potassium, low enough to be kidney safe, yet high enough to deliver powerful anti-inflammatory benefits. After adding just 1 ounce of walnuts to her daily routine, she noticed fewer energy crashes, more stable blood pressure, and most impressively, an improvement in her UACR, the key test that measures how much protein leaks into your urine. And her experience reflects exactly what research shows. Several studies, including one focused on women with a history of gestational diabetes, found that those who consumed nuts like walnuts weekly had significantly lower urinary albumin to creatinine ratios and higher estimated GFR levels. In simple terms, walnuts help these women leak less protein and filter their blood more effectively. That's not a myth. That's measurable kidney improvement. Their power lies in the combination of omega-3 fats, polyphenols, magnesium, and high-quality plant protein. Omega-3 reduces systemic inflammation, magnesium supports blood pressure, stability, and antioxidants prevent oxidative damage to your glomeruli, the very structures responsible for keeping protein inside your bloodstream. When these tiny filters are inflamed or scarred, protein escapes. When they're nourished and protected, protein stays where it belongs. But like every powerful food, walnuts must be used correctly. Eat them raw for maximum antioxidant benefit. Roasting can reduce their protective compounds. Avoid flavored or candied walnuts loaded with sugar, salt, or chocolate coatings that stress the kidneys even more. And one more tip, store them in the refrigerator or freezer. Walnuts spoil quickly at warm temperatures, and rancid nuts not only taste terrible, they produce compounds that can harm your kidneys. And now comes the part most people overlook. Because even though walnuts support kidney healing, they're not the final key to stopping proteinuria. There's one more element beyond food that determines whether your kidneys recover or continue deteriorating, and hardly anyone talks about it. But just knowing what walnuts can do isn't enough, because there is another factor far more dangerous that quietly controls the future of your kidney health. Before we wrap up, I want to speak to you directly, not as a doctor on a screen, but as someone who deeply cares about the journey you're on. If you're watching this video because you or someone you love is dealing with proteinuria, kidney disease, or the fear of what might come next, I want you to pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and recognize how important it is that you're here. The fact that you're learning, listening, and taking action means you've already taken the most powerful step toward healing. I've treated thousands of patients, and I can tell you with absolute certainty, people who stay informed and proactive have dramatically better outcomes. Not because they're lucky, but because they choose to understand their bodies instead of ignoring the warning signs. And you've made that choice today. That's something to be proud of. Every food you adjust, every unhealthy habit you replace, every bit of knowledge you absorb. These are not small things. These are acts of self-care that truly matter. They create momentum, and that momentum leads to change, real measurable change. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, remember this healing doesn't happen in one giant leap. It happens in small, consistent steps you can absolutely take. And I'm here to walk with you through every single one. This channel wasn't created just to provide medical information. It was created to give you clarity, confidence, and hope in a world where kidney disease often feels confusing and frightening. You deserve guidance you can trust, explained in a way that empowers you rather than scares you. That's why I want you to do something simple before you leave. Save this video, bookmark it, add it to a playlist. Whatever method works for you, just make sure you can come back to it when you need encouragement or a reminder of what truly helps your kidneys heal. So many viewers message me months later saying, Dr. Johnny, I came back to this video over and over again, and it helped me stay focused. And that's exactly why I encourage you to keep it close. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is the perfect time. Hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. Not because it helps the channel, although it does, but because it ensures you never miss another life-changing update. The field of kidney health is evolving quickly, and new research appears every month. I break it all down for you in simple, practical steps, not textbook language, but real-world guidance you can apply immediately. Over the next few weeks, I'll be releasing more videos on lowering creatinine, naturally understanding your lab results, controlling blood pressure, and identifying hidden foods that silently damage your kidneys. If you want to stay ahead, if you want to stay in control, make sure you're here for those videos. Your kidneys deserve that level of care, and you deserve a life where you feel strong, clear-minded, energized, and hopeful again. Let me leave you with this. Proteinuria is not the end of your story. It is not a sentence, and it is not a prediction of failure. It is a signal one that your body is giving you so you can act in time. And now that you understand the causes, the warning signs, and the healing foods, you're already miles ahead of where you started. Your kidneys can regenerate. Your numbers can improve. Your energy can come back. I've seen it happen for patients who felt hopeless, and it can happen for you too. Stay strong, stay informed, and above all, stay hopeful. I'm Dr. Johnny, and I'll see you in the next video where we uncover even more ways to protect and rebuild your kidneys one step at a time.